Kia ora, good morning. I've got myself all excited because I'm trawling through videos as usual for reference material and inspiration. I've, gosh, probably tens of thousands of hours I have put in over the last. When did I start my blog? 2013. Tens of thousands of hours, probably even hundreds of thousands of hours I have spent since 2013 going over websites and videos to do with the paranormal and supernatural. Because obviously it's what I am, it's what I do, it's the basis for my entire existence. But when I got the idea to build the Art of Creation Foundation in 2016, 2017, it was originally supposed to be like a creative arts school in New York because obviously my husband is from New York, but for obvious reasons now, that's never going to happen. But I've still continued with my plan, like nothing has changed other than the fact that everything has expanded and gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and growing. And, like I was saying yesterday, I've had to plant new seeds because everything that they stole or tried to steal, it feels dirty now. I can't go back to the past because it's unclean. It just energetically feels unclean, and I don't want to have my name or my reputation attached to anything dark side. The cult that they were in is like the basis for my education centre, really. Like, I'm trying to educate people because these are people who are in a cult that nobody would know they were in a cult. So I am trying to tell my story so that people can know the signs of. Because the thing is, when you are in a group of people and everything you do is to take down somebody who is working for God, that is a cult. When you have a leader who is orchestrating the whole takedown, the whole, abuse system and the targeting of, because I know that they do black magic and all that. I know that for a fact because my ex actually showed me the book. So, anyway, the occult is the paranormal and the supernatural. And everything that I have created is for the purposes of educating people on the difference between the paranormal and the supernatural, which is the occult. And religion comes under the category of the occult. Theology and faith is all parallel to the occult because it's all based on what you believe in and who you believe your God and Creator is, and that is all the occult. My ex promotes like the Church of Leviathan and all that sort of thing. So he's got the T-shirts and he's all like the vampire lifestyle and that. Like, he's got the T-shirts, he's got the products, he's got all of it. So this is my life. This is like, I live this life. I've lived this life my entire life. I was born into this life. Even my Egyptian ancestors, my Arab ancestors, I had a grandmother and aunties and that who were famous in Persia and the Arab lands for doing what I do. So I'm just continuing in my ancestors' footsteps, except they got a lot of stuff wrong. And so I'm here. They've created me. They chose me to correct the wrongs of the occult and paranormal slash supernatural world, because people who have taken everything that my Egyptian ancestors, or even indigenous ancestors and Celtic and Pictish and Viking and Spanish and German and French ancestors, everything that they believed to be true, they've taken all of that, and it's wreaking havoc in this world. That's why 99% of everything you'll see on social media, YouTube and all of that in regards to the supernatural and the paranormal is wrong. It's also the reason why the world is in chaos. Because if you get this stuff wrong, it comes back on you in really bad ways. Everything from creating natural disasters, like the butterfly effect sort of thing, creating natural disasters, right through to people taking their own lives, committing murders, vandalism, like all sorts of things, sacrifices, harvesting, trafficking. Like, gosh, it sends people down the dark path. So the way I'm teaching everyone, other than these videos and that, is when I get my lawsuit, I'm going to build the foundation. It's the Art of Creation Foundation, but we just call it the foundation. And through the books I write and video games my boys and I have created, the movies, the TV shows, the animated series, all of it, the animated series, the kids' cartoons, everything has an educational purpose, depending on the theme. Like, it could be anything from kids dealing with paranormal activity, right through to the ascension process and what to expect, right? So, but I've turned, because kids, you can't just sit down and teach kids, especially little kids, about physics and that. You have to use your imagination in order to do it. Some people, when I talk about what I do, the doctors were a prime example, and so were the police officers. When you explain your physics, when you explain the physics of the paranormal and supernatural, their eyes glaze over, because their minds can't think outside the handbook. Everything that they do is scripted and repetitive. Whereas when you're a free thinker and you don't have a manual, and you do everything using imagination and creativity and physics that requires you to use your imagination, their brain shuts down. So if I'm going to teach children this sort of stuff, I have to be able to do it in a way that uses creativity and imagination. And obviously with children, it's all about the visual, what they see. So I've written books that will be beautifully illustrated. We've created great games that are going to be, beautifully designed, and not just children, obviously, because like the Soul Collector is not going to be a game that little kids are going to be able to play. Like, that's going to come with an R rating on it, because it's dealing with themes about human trafficking and organ harvesting and all that sort of thing. And obviously our movies, some of them, like the Satan Clause, is kind of like Operation Prep and Landing, is going to have, humour and songs, because that's the one that's like a Disney themed style movie, that's for Christmas and Halloween. It's going to be, bright. I think it's DreamWorks, actually. Is it DreamWorks that did Operation Prep and Landing? So not Disney, DreamWorks. The Dragon Princess is the Disney one that will be done old style, like Snow White, like the original Snow White, not the big flop. So everything we're doing is to educate people from 0 to 100 about the paranormal, the supernatural and the occult world that we all live in, whether they know it or not. You know, like the McDonald's Golden Arch being taken from the Ark of Baal. Baal being another name for Baphomet, which is why Donald Trump is obsessed with McDonald's. Obviously, not just because it's got human flesh in the food, um, but yeah, the Golden Arch. You know, he talks about the Golden Age. He's talking about the Golden Ark of Baal, the Golden Ark of Baphomet. So anyway, I have spent the last couple of years looking for places for sale that meet the criteria of what I'm looking for. When I was in California, in Santa Monica, staying with a former student of mine, I met someone through who is a real estate agent, and he said to me that when I was ready to build the foundation, um, this was like in 2017, I believe. 2017. He said, when you're ready to build the foundation, um, buy property, like buy industrial, buy rundown areas, buy places where the structures already exist, like old factories and mills and that sort of thing, and then do them up. Don't buy land and build. He said you'll save a lot more money if you buy um, stuff that already exists, and then you can make it into what you need it to be, because it will be cheaper, because you'll already have like building permits, like, you know, the permits are already in place, and um, the structures are already there. And he said like some of the most expensive parts of investing in property is getting the permits and laying down the foundations. He said because you can always find cheap labour and cheap materials in that, but he said like the building, the framework of it can be very expensive and costly and time consuming. And he said, you know, like if the place is for sale, um, basically you just need the permission to turn it into what you want to turn it into, but the permission for the buildings already exist. So he said it cuts out a lot of red tape. So it's some of the best advice I've ever been given. And I mean, this guy was, he was very successful at what he did. He ended up falling in love with a New Zealander. I thought it was just wonderful. Um, so so I've spent a couple of years trawling through the internet, looking for places for sale. When I originally thought we were going to go to America, like there's loads of towns in America for sale that I absolutely could have turned into the foundation. But obviously I can't go to America now for obvious reasons. Father has forbidden it. I have been forbidden. While the government is the way it is, and with Elon Musk there and all of that, I'm not allowed to take my children there, because the children will be put in danger, especially with the 5G towers, and you know the way they use the Schumann resonance to control the masses and all that sort of thing. So, and I have to protect the children. The children come first. The children come before even like my love life. I'm no man is ever going to come between me and my foundation, because I'm here to protect children, vulnerable children. I'm not here on this earth to fall in love. My love is for the children and the work that I do. So I found this video, and I'll put a link in the description box below, but I've just put it up on my Instagram and in the community section of this place in Cleveland, Ohio, that would be absolutely perfect if it was like it's a neighbourhood block. If it was in an isolated area, not in a populated area, because obviously, you know, I have no intention of building my foundation or my resort in a highly populated area, because the kids need peace and quiet, they need seclusion, they need protecting, especially the kids that we're going to be rescuing from, human trafficking raids and all that sort of thing. Um, there's been a lot of murders there. There's reported paranormal activity, but if you look at it and the guy walking through it, all I kept seeing was our Halloween festival. But we said that we want to buy a place where we want to have one house that we leave to turn into our haunted house for, the month of Halloween. Um, that this house is only going to be used for Halloween. It's not something that you'll have access to outside of Halloween, because people get bored easy, and I don't want. Even though we will have Underworld Street, where I'll have my museum and education centre, um, the haunted house would only be open for Halloween, because we want to change the theme every year. And if you keep going back, if it's open all year round and you keep going back, like, it becomes boring because you know what to expect. But we have plans to do a different theme for the house every year. My son Thomas and I have already got the first 2 years' attractions already planned. And I've said that if we have to start, if we build the foundation and have to just start with investing in the first street, which is Underworld Street, for Halloween, and drawing people in with the macabre and the paranormal and supernatural, and then build each street after that as we go. The more money we make, then that's what we'll have to do. Ideally, I want to be able to build the foundation and my resort, like, all in one go, and then have people just be immersed in what it is that I am building. But obviously, because I'm doing this off my own financial backing, um, with my lawsuit money, I'm only going to take what I need to start a new life for my boys, and I get what we need. Like, we all need new clothes. Like, my ex has 2 wardrobes full of clothes. One of them is a walk-in wardrobe, yet my boys have no clothes. Like, none clothes. They have 2 pairs of pajamas each because I've bought them. And like 2 change of clothes, I think, whereas he's got like about 20 pairs of pants, and like untold jackets and shirts and t-shirts, and about 60 pairs of shoes and boots and all that sort of thing, because he only cares about himself. He spends more money on his jewellery than he does on his own kids. So with what little I have, I'm the one that takes care of the kids, and I always have done. I'm the one that was buying all their sweatshirts and that, and their clothing from when I was locked up. I was buying them clothes when I was locked up. And I provide all their fruit and vegetables and salads and, all that sort of thing. So I'm going to take the lawsuit money and buy everything that we need, get us into a home, get us all set up, and then obviously start looking into properties to buy where I can build the foundation. And then as we start making money, and because like the paranormal, supernatural kind of occult Halloween stuff is a big money maker, depending on where we build. Like if it's in Inverness, if the king sorts himself out and sorts his prime ministers out, then we would go to Inverness. Otherwise, we're going to go to Canada. But I do have plans to build foundations in other countries. We have a list like Italy, Spain, Poland, Hungary, Russia, Canada, obviously, uh, New Zealand, Australia, wherever I'm allowed to build one, I'm going to build one. But yeah, we have like a short list of places that we want to look into once we're ready to branch out. But if you look at this place, on the video for the link that I'm sending, all I keep seeing is my foundation, and I'm seeing it filled with people on Halloween. Now, I don't like places that exploit the dead. I think it's an insult to their memory. But what I plan to do, especially like if I found a place like this in the video, what I plan to do is use the deaths and murders and, you know, the tragedies in order to educate people and to keep the memories of the victims alive. Obviously with permission from the relatives, if they're still alive, I would go to them, because, you know, we would, if they were unsolved murders, you know, we can you know, do things in the museum and education centre where we can promote, you know, the solving of the crimes. And if people have a more personal, up close attachment to the situation, they might be more inclined to maybe give up some information if they're local, or, you know, do some investigating themselves and, you know, come up with clues, or, you know, you never know. But, you know, if you know me, you know that I've worked on a few missing persons cases, and I've worked on a lot of unsolved murders and that, so I wouldn't be exploiting them the way that everybody else does. I would be helping promote their story in order to educate people, and maybe even help the family find peace and solve the cases. I mean, you never know. It doesn't hurt to try and help families find closure when it comes to murders and unsolved deaths and that sort of thing. But I'm starting to get excited because I can feel it manifesting. I can feel it coming. Because I know that all of this is starting to come to an end. Looking at that video, it's just, I just keep seeing it in my head. It's like I can't unsee it now, of what it is that my boys and I have spent all these years building and developing. And like I said, if the first tourist attraction thing that we can afford after building the foundation is Underworld Street, it's probably still going to be the biggest money maker anyway, because everybody loves Halloween, everybody loves the paranormal and supernatural. But I'll be doing it in a way that's educational, that is fun and very real. And one of the things that I plan to do when we get out of here is obviously travel around and make my shows again, where I'm investigating places. And with my radio show and all of that, I want to encourage people to send me items, and I will pick up things along the way, and, you know, buy things at auctions and all of that, where we will buy things to put in the museum. I went to the last thing my ex did before he tried to kill me, my last birthday. He took me to like a paranormal museum here in Yorkshire, I think it was. The photos are up on my Instagram. There were voodoo dolls and like vampire hunting kits, and like real ones, and, you know, that sort of thing, hearses. And I want to do all that sort of stuff. I want to get stuff from the Wild West and have gallows and guillotines, and, you know, like I want to invest in all sorts of things, voodoo dolls and voodoo kits, and, you know, all sorts of things to put in my museum, including, you know, things from murders and deaths and all of that, so that we can tell stories and keep the memory alive of the victims and all of that, but also to educate people. And obviously our tour guides will, you know, give talks and answer questions. And you know, there'll be like the education centre, there'll be stuff there for the kids to do, there'll be hands-on things for the kids to do, and, you know, for the tourists and that to take part in. And watching that video, it's like it's just brought it all to life for me. I can feel it in my gut and my solar plexus of what's coming, and I'm getting excited. My resort, the foundation, everything we make at the foundation is to set the scene for the resort, because if I was just to build the holiday resort, it wouldn't make any sense. People would be like, who the hell's Miss Mouse? You know, who the hell's Brianna Saithusa? Who's Princess Anahita? Who's the Moon King? You know, who's the Wolf King? Like, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't have a clue. Who's Otisha? But obviously, after a couple of years of pumping out video games and movies and books and promoting my shows and my radio shows, and that, people are going to know what it is and who they are. So then when it's time to find investors to build the resort, and people are, you know, boosting to be a part of what it is that we're creating, the scene has already been set. You know, Disneyland came first, and then Disneyland Resort came second. So the foundation will come first, and the entertainment factory, which is what I call it for now, resort, will come second. It will be like the second investment, but the foundation is to set the scene for the resort, and also to create funding to build the first Dragonarium, which is what we call the safe house for the kids, because obviously dragon is my totem, but arium means false or artificial. Like, you know, like aquarium is like artificial water or artificial ocean. So dragonarium, because dragons are the totems for ancestry, it's basically like artificial parents or surrogate parents. Like, yeah, like the likeness of parenthood. So like foster home, care home, mum's home, dad's home. And because the Dragonarians will have den mothers and den fathers that run it, so the Dragonarium basically is basically like it might not be your real home, it might not be your ancestral or genetic home, but it is still your home, and we are still going to be your parents. Everyone there will be like surrogate parents to the kids that we rescue. So that's why we call it the Dragonarium. So atrium as well. The atrium is like a artificial garden. You know, like atriums are in like glass houses sort of things, and you know, a glass house isn't a real house. It's like a false representation of a garden house, of the house's garden inside the atrium. So you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so I'll put a link in the description box below, but I'm starting to get really excited. There's loads of towns, there's even castles and stuff for sale that I could absolutely, with you know, the right investment, if I did this right and I made enough money on my own, I wouldn't need outside investment. The only reason why I would be looking for outside investment for the resort is because I don't want to spend all of my money on all of this, because I want to be able to leave money for my boys. I want to be able to have enough for them, so that when I go, you know, whether my businesses fail or not, they're always going to have money to fall back on from me. So it would be wiser for me when it came to the resort, because obviously that's where the real money maker's going to be. That's where the most of the money, it's where it's going to cost the most to build, because of the plans that I have for it. And I don't want to spend everything that I make building the one resort, because like I said, I want to be able to have enough money left over for my boys and I to be able to live off quite comfortably without having to worry about paying bills and that. And I don't mean comfortably as in like Ferraris and that. I mean where if my boys need anything, they don't have to worry about scrimping and saving and, you know, worrying about whether they're going to be able to afford food and that. And if I put all my money into building this resort, I would risk everything for them. So I'm just watching that video. I mean, I only got a few minutes in and I just got inspired, and now I'm getting excited because I can see it all starting to manifest in real life. All the plans, everything. It's like a lifetime of planning, a lifetime of building is all starting to come into fruition. It's all starting to manifest in real life. And I just need justice. I just need to sort my ex out and get this lawsuit money sorted so that we can get out of here, start making these shows, find a home, find a place to build the foundation, you know, get construction workers in, because I'm going to have my own construction company, which I think is cool. And I was originally going to offer the contract to my husband's friend Bless, because he owns a construction company, because he employs guys that have just gotten out of prison, and which I think is wonderful because of my Beyond Life program. We could have worked really good together, but obviously, you know, for obvious reasons now I can't. But that's okay, it just wasn't meant to be. So I'm going to start my own construction company. And, you know, have like a site manager and all of that. So we're going to call it North Star Construction. And yeah, we're going to invest in building. I've learnt a lot watching Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. They've been great inspirations for me when it comes to, you know, investing in the infrastructure of your country. So my foundation will be like my own little mini country. So I just wanted to make this video to let everyone be aware of the plan, and to give you like a visual of what it is. So when you click on this video, obviously the foundation probably isn't going to have as many buildings as this neighbourhood block, because I need a place that has a forest and a lot of land. It's certainly, I mean, if I did buy something like that, I would have to knock a lot of the houses down in order to have the land, but that's okay. I don't mind doing that. It wouldn't be in a populated neighbourhood. It certainly wouldn't be in a city. So it would have to be, which is why he said factories and mills and that, because most factories and mills are on the outskirts of town, which is what I'm looking for. I want my kids are and my staff are gonna need peace and quiet, and, you know, not have to worry about police sirens and gunshots and all that sort of thing. I'd never build in a place that was that volatile, but you know what I'm saying. Every town, every city's got factories and mills on the outskirts of town, that would be perfect for what it is that I'm wanting to build. So when you watch this video, there's a house that, and I know because it's only a couple of minutes in, you're going to look at it and go, that's the house she's talking about for the haunted house. And then just imagine it being like filled with like parks and stores and buildings where, you know, games are being made, Gemstone Games, and the movie studio QE2, and like our little department store and our bakery and all of that. Like, you can see it. That's why I'm getting excited. So I had to make a video, because when you watch this guy's video, it's like I could see the building plans. It's like I could see Halloween and it being full of tourists and bands playing outside, and, you know, food stalls and people dressed in Halloween costumes, and then I saw the education centre and museum and talking about the murders of the bodies that were found in the neighbourhoods and that, thinking, man, you know, we could do so much to help these victims, especially if they're unsolved murders, and with permission from the families, there's so much we could do with that place if it was just, you know, if it was available for what it is I was wanting to turn it into. And now I'm getting excited because it's like I said to my boys the other day, it's like, it's just like right there, like I can almost touch it. It's like I can almost touch the foundation. I can almost touch our future. It's just right there, which reminds me of the dream that I had where my boys and I were in an apartment at the back of the Kremlin. And I was saying, when I was talking about this dream, I was making strawberry shortcake, and it was like, and I was writing it on X, and I said it was like I could almost reach out and touch the walls to the Kremlin. This is what it's like. It's like I can almost touch our future. It's just right there. It's like we're one step away from crossing the finish line, and then that's it. The whole thing comes to life. I'm getting excited. That video's just, it's like, yeah, whew, I'm getting excited now. It's like I can see it. And yeah, I'll do it all on my own. I was supposed to have a partner, my protector and I, my husband and I. We were supposed to do this together, but God said no. So now I'm doing it all on my own. And like, nothing about my plans from back then, from 2016's changed, other than the location of where I'm going to do it and what I'm doing with it. It's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, but better as well. So yeah, so you'll see the museum, the occult museum, on my Instagram. Go further down to November 2021, I think it is. No, yeah, 2021. And you'll see all the photos there, because it's one of the things that inspired me to have a museum and education centre. And then, yeah, so go to the link to this, to the description box below in X, on my X account, because I don't go in there anymore. I'm not allowed to. You'll see links that I put up of towns and places in Europe for sale that even have castles and like little villages in Spain and all of that, that would absolutely be perfect for what it is I'm looking for. So obviously one of the first things I'll have to do once I find a property to buy is I'm going to have a really good architect with a great imagination, and then I'm going to have to start a construction company. Before anything else, I'm going to have to start my own construction company, but that's completely fine. So I'm getting excited. So this video dropped in my lap for a reason. God saying, keep your eyes on the prize, girl. Keep your eyes on the prize. I'm keeping my eyes on the prize, Father. I'm keeping my eyes on the prize, Lord. And I'm getting excited because it's like I can feel it manifesting. It's like it's like my whole body's going because it's starting to manifest. I'm getting excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to bring this world to the world. I can't wait to bring my world to the world and open the gates so that they can see everything for what it really is and embrace it and love it as much as what I do. Okay, I'm going to go now and get some breakfast. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.